30 seconds and counting.
Hey, what's good, yo? Welcome back to another video. It's Anish. I'm joined with Roman, and today we're going to be going over the Texans game versus the Patriots. The Texans lose in a heartbreaker, 25-22. The game was pretty close. We let off our foot off the gas in the second half, and Davis Mills had an incredible bounce-back game this game. 21 out of 29, 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he had a 141.7 quarterback rating. So that was pretty good by Davis Mills, and I believe that he made the record books today. There have been only 2 rookies that have thrown 3 pass touchdowns against the Patriots since Bill Belichick took over as head coach, Davis Mills and Russell Wilson. And before that, like by halftime, only 4 rookie quarterbacks have thrown for 200 yards, 2 plus touchdowns against Bill Belichick since 2000. So I thought like Davis Mills might have some more trouble against Bill Belichick, especially, and going against the Patriots pass defense, which was ranked 5th in the NFL. But it was actually the opposite, and Davis Mills actually did really, really well. And this loss is definitely not on him at all. It mainly came down to Kaimi not making extra points and really bad decisions by David Culley. I guess we'll get more into that, but there's some really great players who stood out this game. Chris Moore, a guy who was elevated from the practice squad, showed out today. 5 receptions, 109 yards, 1 touchdown. He was super dynamic, making plays out of nothing. I thought it was going to be a loss, and then he turned into a huge gain. And so there's a lot of things to take away from this. For that bad decision making is probably the main reason why we lost this game. But what are your thoughts?
My main thing to take away from this game is Davis Mills was absolutely phenomenal. From last week, the majority of the fan base, including myself, we all thought Davis Mills was pretty much a lost cause. What was it, 4 interceptions? I think he barely even had 100 yards, if even. And his completion percentage was just miserable. And then, obviously the weather had part to do with that. And then, obviously, we played the Buffalo Bills, one of the best defenses in the NFL. But today, going against Bill Belichick, a head coach that's known for his amazing track record against rookie QBs and being able to shut them down and limit them, he was absolutely phenomenal. Like, he did pretty much everything right. There was very minimal things that he did wrong. He was making plays. He was making plays on the run. He was making throws on the run, like that touchdown to Chris Moore. He was just amazing on all cylinders today. 0 interceptions, 3 touchdowns, a perfect touchdown to interception ratio. Going into this game, I personally thought Mills would probably have 2, 3 interceptions, maybe 1 touchdown, but no, it's the complete opposite. He just went off. And keep in mind, he's a 3rd-round rookie who was drafted to be a developmental quarterback this year. He wasn't really expected to play this year, I don't think. Like in the Texans' coaching minds and Nick Caserio, I don't really think that they thought Davis Mills didn't have to play, or at least play this early on into the season. If he was to play, it was probably the last few games of the season, maybe 3 or 4 games. But it's very, very early on to the season. And Davis Mills, as I said, a developmental quarterback, to be playing as good as he is right now. And all unbiased aside, this was probably the best game from a rookie quarterback this season. Even better than Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, and then Trey Lance is about to play in a little bit. But this is probably the best game from a rookie quarterback that we've seen so far this year. 300-something yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and I think he only had less than 8 incompletions and 9 incompletions, something like that. So yeah, that's my biggest takeaway. Win or lose, I really don't care as long as you get to see Mills learning, progressing more into the offense, getting more comfortable. That's one of the best things to see as a Houston Texans fan.
Yeah, we'll see if this Tyrod Taylor effect kicks in, if Davis Mills becomes the next star quarterback in the league. But there's still a lot more for him to show. But I think he did really good, and he was 3 of 3 on 4th down situations, and yeah, he was absolutely really good. Gonna be interesting to see how he performs next game. But let's talk about our defense. I think our defense did a pretty solid job at like containing the Patriots. Like at the second half, they were pretty much gassed out there because their offense was only out there for like 1 or 2 minutes and then punt, 1 or 2 minutes and then punt. So they could not catch a break, and they did make turnovers when they could. Terrence Mitchell made an absolutely great play, punching the ball out of Damian Harris's hands and causing a fumble at the goal line. So that was really key. And then Lonnie Johnson made a pick, second interception in like 2 interceptions in 2 consecutive games. So that was really good. We almost had another interception where Reed and Lonnie were targeting the same ball, but that was kind of a missed opportunity. But that's whatever. But this loss is definitely not on the defense decision making really, and like some more on like specifics as to why Cully's bad decision making comes into play is where we had that one weird punt where we like had I don't know, like had that weird formation where he's trying to like pretend to like throw the ball, and then he changes it up again, and then we like punt super close, like the long snapper was really close to the punter, and so it ends up hitting, I think the ball ended up hitting one of our teammates' helmets, and so that was a fail. And then David Culley somehow trusts Kaimi Fairbairn to kick a 56-yard field goal on a 4th and 4. I mean, at that point in the game, I feel like our offense is more reliable than Kaimi. And Kaimi has never kicked that far. And he was, on top of that, he was having a bad kicking day. I mean, even across the NFL, like, kickers are missing a lot of stuff. But that shouldn't have, that's just like a coincidence. That's not the reason why. So, like, I don't know. That was really questionable. And, like, we just really took our foot off the gas. That was really disappointing. And, like, I knew it, like, when Kaimi was missing those extra points, that, like, that's going to be, like, the reason why we lose this game. I mean, like, if you did make it, it would have been, like, 24, 25, but still, like, it would have looked a lot more different going in, like, throughout the game.
Yeah, one of my biggest takeaways from this Houston Texans defense is Jonathan Bernard. Jonathan Bernard, he's going on his 3rd consecutive start, and he's just been absolutely tearing it up. Like, he's been very, very good. Was it today? He had 1 sack. I believe he had 2 tackles for losses. It was either 1 or 2, but he made one really good stop on Damian Harris, and that was probably one of the, I wouldn't say turning points because we ended up losing the game, but for that drive, it was one of the turning points for that drive for the Houston Texans defense to get a stop. I believe they stopped him on that drive. I'm not really too sure, but that was a very, very good stop. He stopped Damian Harris in the backfield, and prayers up to Damian Harris, but he ended up getting injured on that play. He came back into the game, but then he later went back out again. But he's just been making a bunch of plays, getting pressures, making plays. And then another guy that had a pretty good game is Zach Cunningham. For pretty much the whole season, he hasn't really been anywhere around the ball. He's just been kind of been invisible in a way. Christian Kirksey's kind of taken his spot as a field general middle linebacker. But today, Zach Cunningham, he made a really, really good play. He made a good pass breakup. I believe the pass was intended for Jacoby Myers. And then he ended up getting a hand on it and then forced incompletion. But Zach Cunningham today, he was making tackles. He was pretty much everywhere on the field. Did the box score for his stats. They won't say the most, but I mean, he was very good today. And then obviously Lonnie Johnson getting that interception. 2 interceptions in a row, back-to-back games. But yeah, this defense is a lot of stuff to build upon. And these guys that are making plays, making names for themselves, they're not all really that old. They're all pretty young. So these guys, if they can keep it up, they could be potential building blocks for this defense going forward. Lonnie Johnson, I think, is like 25. Jonathan Grenard is like 24, 25. Zach Cunningham, I believe, is going to be 26, 27-ish. So it's still kind of young. Not the youngest, but pretty young. But yeah, this defense, this offense in general, this whole football team, a bunch to take away from it is just, as you were saying, just bad decision-making from David Culley, how it has been pretty much the whole season. There really hasn't been one game where he had necessarily a perfect, but he hasn't had a good game on decision-making pretty much the whole season. But, yeah, I really, really love how this team is looking going forward. Even if we end up having a losing record this season, there's a bunch to move on and build from it. Players making a name for themselves, as I said earlier. But, yeah, I love this football team.
Yeah, I think what was kind of frustrating was that like we weren't able to get as much pressure as we could have gotten, especially with the Patriots having, I think, 4/5 of their O-line like out with injuries and stuff. So that was kind of annoying how we weren't able to get as much pressure, only getting one sack. And so yeah, that was kind of disappointing. And then like another guy who stood out to me was Cam McGregor-Hill. He's leading our team in tackles for losses, and he definitely deserves to get re-signed by us this season. And before the game, Charles Omenihu was declared inactive, so that's definitely something to watch. I don't know if he's falling down on the depth chart or not, but that's so that's pretty interesting. David Johnson also stood out kind of on the receiving game. He looked really good, really agile. He was like converting a lot of first downs for us. We're getting close to first downs, so maybe David Johnson. Like I said at the beginning of the season, I predicted that David Johnson would have more receiving yards than rushing yards. I think that could start to become a reality soon. But yeah, I think we did a good job at distributing the ball. Brandon Cooks didn't get too much love today, but he was like guarded by J.C. Jackson, so that's fine. But overall, like this is like not like the worst loss ever, especially coming back from like a blowout game. This was not a bad bounce back game for like the whole team, but definitely could have been like executed better. But anyways, that's pretty much it for the video. Let us know your thoughts, and as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank you for watching. Peace.